They never reopened the bars. They never reopened the discotheques. And when they find one that is functioning, which occasionally happens, they clamp down on it immediately. They've done a very good job on that. Second is that they've had a mask requirement since April, I think, and the Italians follow it. The third thing is that the Italians have followed everything much better than anyone thought they would. They are notoriously anarchic, but for some reason, when they understand that something is important, they follow it.
For which reason? Policy
Because they're practical people, and they understand when something is really a risk. That's why I think there also has not been a large resistance movement here, as there has been in Germany, as there has been in the United States. I don't really know about France, but I know that there's been a lot of resistance to wearing masks, to the lockdown, and so on. And Italians are practical, they understand things. They did a remarkably good job. I think that the Italian government did better than anybody thought that they could. They were dealt a very bad hand. They were given very bad cards in this game because of the way the disease was imported, because of the first couple of cases in the north who were super spreaders, and because nobody knew how to behave. Everybody thought it was spread in one way, it was actually spread in another. Doctors didn't know to protect themselves. That's why they lost 176 doctors to COVID. So I think that they managed to handle the situation very well. Well, it should be taken before people get to the airport. When I came into Italy, when I came back after spending 3 months in the United States, I was not allowed to get on the airplane it was from Paris to Italy, to Rome, and I wasn't allowed to get on before I told them exactly where I was coming from, before I told them where I was going to do my quarantine. Everything was done very precisely. Now, they're not doing that anymore. They're being sloppy about it. They forget to ask people where they're coming from. And they're waiting, if they do anything, it's done at the airport when they arrive in Italy. And it should be done before, because to prevent people from coming in. They have done a very good job on contact tracing. When they find a person who came in from Bangladesh, they had a small outbreak, and they immediately blocked the Bangladesh flights, and they went and they tested everybody in the Bangladeshi community, everybody they could get their hands on. They've tried to do the same thing with the Romanians, who sneak across the border in cars, or they come in on buses. Now at least they're checking the buses very carefully. They're trying very hard, and I think that the fact that they have had the maximum number of new cases they've had in one day is 500, which is several times less than in Spain and is only half what they've had in France. I think that speaks very well for their managing to handle a situation. The other thing, as I say, they've been behaving very well. They don't behave so well out of doors. Italians are not social distancing out of doors, but it is infinitely less important to social distance out of doors. This is a disease that does not get spread outside. I think that in the Italian context, the most important measure is to keep the bars and the discotheques and the nightclubs closed, absolutely closed. If the kids want to rave outdoors, that's not going to do very much in spreading COVID. In fact, I don't know whether people know this, but there was a natural experiment in the United States with all of the demonstrations against racism that took place in June and July. And this natural experiment actually proved that even if you have mobs of people screaming, most of them not wearing masks, very close to each other, it does not spread this disease. This was a surprise to everybody, including me.